Good morning, friends. New project today, and I've got something rather beautiful just come in this morning. And I mean this morning, I mean while it's still dark, but we'd arrange that anyway. Fantastic. And without further ado, I'm going to show you what we've got. Absolutely beautiful. I love these guitars. It's an Epiphone G400 SG, but this is, it's made in Korea one, and it's got an S on there. Is that the Siam plant? Siam plant is where they also make Shine guitars. Great little factory. I love my Korean guitars, you know that. If I could have an Epiphone SG, it would be this colour, but I don't have this one. I have a black one, which I'm currently modding up, which you know about. But this, oh look at this. If I could get one of these, Korean one, in this condition or colour, I would snap it up. What a beautiful guitar. But why is it here, you say? Well, it's here because a guy bought it as a gift for someone, for his daughter, no less. It's got a little dink on the body there, which is nothing to worry about. But it was assured it was working fine and working well. And the thing is, it isn't. It has got an electrical problem. But I do believe the electrical problem is on the input jack, because I've had it plugged in this morning and it worked while it was here. And then I wiggled it and it didn't work, so we know it's got something to do with it. Also, a couple of the pots are crackling. So what I've decided to do is, I give them this for full works. This is having the full intensive setup, for which I'd normally charge £75, and that is everything done. We are going to strip the guitar, remove the strings, we're going to check the tuners, tighten all those up. We are going to do all the electrics, we're going to check the frets, we're going to polish the frets, we're going to level up to 5 frets if we need leveling. We're going to polish the frets, we're going to treat the fingerboard with mineral oil. We're going to clean the fingerboard, raise all the crap out of there and get it all cleaned up. With the frets polished, it's going to look mint. We're going to raise or lower the height of the pickups to make sure they're the right distance from the strings. We're going to set the intonation on the bridge. We're going to clean everything up, it's all a bit dusty here and there. So everything's going to get a clean. And also, then after that, we're going to restring it. We're going to make sure the strings are radius correctly. We're going to make sure the action's right, the neck's set right. We're going to alter the truss rod where it needs altering. These strings have had it. So I didn't notice when the guy was here, we weren't going to change the strings, but I've looked at the strings. I thought we're really doing. And the neck and the fingerboard is really quite dirty, so we're going to give that a good clean. So it's going to have the full bit. With an intensive setup, we're looking around about 2 hours. I imagine the electric's going to be pretty easy to sort out. I'm also going to go in there and squirt the pots with some service oil, which is a switch cleaner, to get rid of any crackle or anything we're going to get in there. So this is going to have the full lot. The guy's happy for me to proceed with it. The guitar is beautiful. Got a couple of dings here and there, but absolutely nothing major. A couple of little indentations in the guitar. I would still love this. If I can find one of these, I'm going to buy myself one. Set neck on these, nice pickups. It would probably be even better with some Epiphone Pro Bookers in there, the USA versions, but when all said and done, still nice. See, the fingerboard is going to need a clean. So without further ado, I'm going to crack on. I'm not particularly going to film any of the work. I've got 4 guitars that I plan to do today, all of them intensive setups. A couple have got Floyd Roses on, and there's another one, it's having an intensive setup and it's having some pickups fitted. I'll explain more about that later. So without further ado, I'm going to blob on with this work. Like I say, there's 4 I want to do today. That's a shift. That's an 8-hour shift there. So the quicker I get on with it, the quicker they will get done. So come back for an update later where I'll show what we've done to the guitar and how it looks and plays once done. Stay tuned. Right, with it, a little stumbling block with this SG, because the input jack is still crackling no matter what I do, and I've checked the connections and everything, so I'm going to replace this. And the thing is, I don't have one of these in stock. Well, I do have one, but it's black and this is silver, so that really wouldn't matter that much. But I do have an old stereo one there. It's been sat in my parts drawer for years. So I'm going to strip all the wires off this, and I'm going to modify this stereo jack to work as a mono jack. And all we do by that is we leave off the, is it the sleeve or the ring? I'm not sure which one, but we leave off the, anyway, this connection here. I'm going to bend that out of the way, keep it out of the way. We're not going to solder anything to that. I'm going to clean it up, and I'm going to use this as a mono jack. Works just the same. You just leave the centre lug out. So we're going to replace it with this one. I'm going to clean it up, get a wire brush on there, clean all the connections, and I'm sure that will work just fine. Else, if if I really needed to, I've got a black one here, and at the end of the day, I'm not going to charge for this, it's free, so, you know, if we really have to use that one, it's no big deal, is it? Just won't look, you know, if you're going to be really, really picky, oh, it's got a blackjack instead of a chrome one, but you're not going to moan about that. So, the reason I'm going to use this one is this is really sturdily built, it's a really quite a good one. Once I've cleaned that up and desoldered all that and everything, that will be absolutely fine. So, I'm going to stick that in there, and I'm sure it's going to work fine. And here we are with the stereo jack desoldered, cleaned up. You'll see that lug there I've sectioned off, put some shrink wrap tubing over there because it's one we're not going to use. That is for the ring. We are using the tip, which is this lug, and the sleeve, which is this lug, or which is the earth. And we can see here, the reason I've left this lug on is it's going to give more rigidity to the jack. And there's the one we need to connect the tip. That's the one that's causing the problem. And you've got the ring inside, the sleeve inside. This one here, which is normally for the ring, is going to give more rigidity to that, because by rights, when we're playing an SG, we should use a right angle jack to go into the body, not just one sticking out like that, because it's going to cause a weakness, it's going to wobble. So we should use a right hand jack to go in there, but that is going to be solid. So I'm going to swap these over now. This will work, this will be absolutely fine. So crack on with it. Okay, no slight problem. Got it all wired in, looking fine. Absolutely brilliant. The guitar all works, absolutely fantastic. Turn over. That's pushed all the way through, and I don't have enough thread to screw onto. I'm very reluctant to gouge out anything from the back of the body cavity. You see there though, that ridge right at the edge there is too wide, whereas on the mono one, it's really thin. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this mono one in. The only problem is this is black, but it's going to have to do because it fits. Look, end of the day, it's better than nothing. It's a quick fix. Or we can order a chrome one and wait, hopefully hope it gets here before Christmas. I am going to fit this black one with a chrome washer and a chrome bolt or screw on the top. I think we're going to look alright. So I'm going to swap this. It's a shame because I like these stereo ones because they're really, really solid and it holds a jack really well, but I'm going to have to whiz it out, put this one in. So I'm going to crack on. End of the day, it will give us a working guitar and it will be done for Christmas time. So I don't really have any choice right now. I could go and order some in and get it, hopefully get it shipped here. I mean, it should get here, but it's Christmas post, you know what raw mail are like. So I'm going to put the black one in and we'll leave it at that. Back soon. I'm going to give a quick update on the guitar. Now we've sorted the electrics out. I had to swap the input jack again because the stereo one just didn't fit through the hole. So, and I didn't want to gouge any more out of the wood at the back. So here's the guitar. Input jack, new one in. All three positions. No cutting out anywhere. Volume works. No scratching on the pots anymore. I've been in and given all the pots a squirt of service oil. Cleaned all the switches, cleaned the three-way, so that's no longer crackling. I've altered the pickup heights. I'm now just about to set the intonation with these strings on. Once the intonation's set and the action's set, I'm going to remove the strings, clean the fingerboard, polish the frets, put on some new strings. I've decided I'm going to go with a, because it's for a young girl, I'm going to stick on a set of 9s. I normally go with 10s on a Gibson, but these are going to be lighter on my fingers, 942, so I'm going to go with those. You might be saying, well, why are you doing the intonation now then if you put a lighter gauge string on? Well, because at the end of the day, it's going to be closer when I've done it with these strings on than it might be, you know, it's going to be pretty close, even though the string gauge is a little bit heavier. And then when it comes to tinkering and tuning up again later, if I have to modify anything, it's going to be very, very slight. At least I know where I want to be. So I'm going to do the intonation and everything now. The nut looks cut fine, the strings are nice and low, but not there. The strings here are all black down this end. They've got to come off. We'll go in with a new set of strings. I've lowered this pickup slightly because this was a lot louder than this one. I've raised this one slightly as well. I'm going to polish the tops of these, get all the dust off the guitar, get it all cleaned up, check the tuners, blah, 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 blah. It's having the full works, this is. I'd normally charge 75 quid for that, and you got 5 quid for your strings. So if you want your guitars fixing, you know, give me a shout. And if you're a first time customer, we'll do you a nice deal for a first timer. Also remember that I do a special setup now for £35. If you've got a brand new guitar, say you get a new guitar at Christmas and it's not quite right, I will do you a setup for 35 quid. And if you want new strings on top of that, it'll be another fiver, so you're looking at 40 quid. It's only for new guitars, so you need to either bring a receipt or proof that the guitar's new, and I will basically do you a half price setup with strings. It'll cost you 40 quid in all, 35 quid without the strings, 40 quid with strings. So anyway, stay tuned, we're going to crack on with this, we're going to get it finished, and I'll be back shortly. Well, here's a little surprise. The truss rod needs altering, there's too much relief in the neck, and I'm just setting the action. I've done the intonation, I'm setting the action, and I've checked, I've gone across with a not straight edge over the frets here, so we can check the neck, see how straight it is, and it's got quite a bit of relief in it, so I thought we need to straighten that out. So I'll take the truss rod cover off. You get a Gibson truss rod cover, but how we tell a Gibson from an Epiphone is, a Gibson only has 2 screw holes, one at the top, one at the bottom in the centre. The Epiphone one always has 3, so this is a Gibson truss rod cover for an Epiphone guitar. But normally what we do is we have a hex key hole in there, right about 4mm like this, and we stick the hex key in there and we alter a truss rod. But this hasn't, this has actually got the Gibson truss rod nut, which we have to use a special tool for this, and I'm just about to go and get one. I'm going to whiz one out now. I think they're over there. There they are. And here they are. And we're going to have to use one of these because this is not a regular, it's not, you don't normally get these on an Epiphone. You normally get the one you stick an hex key into, but this isn't. This is it's got a bolt on the top, or a nut that you adjust with this special tool. I've never seen this on an Epiphone before, so, you know, I'm sure it happens a lot. So I'm going to have to go in, make sure I've got the right tool. That's too big. Of course, it'll be the 4th one I pull out because I've got 4. I should have marked one up for a Gibson actually. I wonder if this is it. Might be. I think it's an 8mm affair. And that's it. And we have to go in with one of these. It's got a hex key thing on there. And basically, nice and simple. We stick that over the nut like so, and we can alter the truss rod there. So, oh, that truss rod's a bit. Oh, that's not really making a very nice noise. Yeah, I think we've slackened it off now, we've moved it. So I'm going to straighten the neck, take some of that relief out. A bit too much there for my liking, but the truss rod is working. A lot of relief in there. I've got 2/4 turns so far. That noise, by the way, was just a paint cracking, I think, on the truss rod itself. Don't really go mental. It's had about half a turn now. And where are we? Just about getting there. I don't know where anything goes snap. So, we're a lot closer now. I think we're just about there now. Probably just taking a while to settle. And there you go. I'm happy with that amount of relief there. So what I shall do is I will now go and change the strings, and we'll reset the neck and everything for the new strings. We have got just a small amount of relief in there, which is what we like. So let that settle a second. Anyway, nice little surprise here. Back again soon. Bum, 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 bum. So a couple more issues that might cause us a problem somewhere down the line. It's nothing to worry about right now, and it's not an expense we really need at the moment, but quite a lot of fret wear down this end here. You see there, we're starting to get indentations, and that one's pretty pronounced here. I would be looking at a fret level on this sometime in the future. I would say, because the player is not going to be that a heavy player and a learner, and you know, maybe, I don't know how good the girl is, but it depends how ever you play. But I would say right about a year and a half's time, I'd be looking at getting these, maybe even a year, 6 months, whatever, I would look at getting a fret level on this, because there's quite a lot of wear on there, and that's only going to get worse with playing. Maybe even somewhere down the line in the future, maybe you could look at getting a refret, but a refret is an expensive thing, and this being a band neck, it's an expensive refret. So you're talking £175 plus a fret wire, plus any knickknacks you need changing, like the nuts and strings, what have you. So I'm going to leave that for now. You're still going to get a lot of play out of this guitar, but we could even possibly do a partial refret. But I'm looking down from frets, from about fret 8 or 9 down to the first fret, starting to get quite a bit of wear. Not terrible yet, but these are going to get worse. So something to look to in the future. The guitar's going to play absolutely fine for now. I'm just going to check the level of the frets. There may be 1 or 2 high ones. The bigger concern, rather than the frets right now, is the gunk all over the fingerboard there. Like, I've got to get that off. Things I do, people. The things I do. So I'm going to douse this in some mineral oil. I'm going to let that soak all the crap off. Just going to get a load of squirts here. I'm going to let it go mental. I've just absolutely saturated that in lemon oil, and I'm going to let that do the work. I'm just going to give it a wipe over with a cloth. I've got a yucky one somewhere. Always go with the yucky cloth when it's a yucky fingerboard. And I'm going to let that soak in, and what that's going to do is that's going to soak all that umscow. And I'm going to be careful with my words today, because my wife has just set up a sway box, which we agreed on yesterday, that she's going to implement and use. And today I owe it £2 already. That's actually quite a good thing, because I normally owe it about 20 by now. I don't really swear in public that much. I certainly don't swear at church, so I know it's a thing that I'm not aware of. I obviously do think about it when I go to church. I've never sworn in church. So it shows I can not swear if I don't want to swear. So she set up a swear box, and I owe it £2 today, and I am hopefully not going to owe it any more. Because what goes in the swear box, well, it will go to some sort of charity somewhere, which I don't mind it going to, but I don't want to be giving it a lot, and I'm not being tight. I just, you know how it works. So that's it. I'm going to let that soak in, let that gunk come off. I'm going to clean it up, polish the frets, get some strings back on, blah de blah. Then I'm going to crack on. While this is soaking, I'm going to pour another coat of that on there, because that's already soaked in. This is something you should do every six months to a year. Give it a right good dousing with mineral oil, because mineral oil doesn't just clean and lift the crap off, that's not a swear word, got away with that. It also nourishes the wood. We don't want to nourish it to get it sopping, soaking and saturated. We just need it to get a little bit of treatment about once a year, you know, and treat the wood. You don't want it drying out. I've had dried fingerboards, and they're not easy to work on, because you get splinters and stuff. Anyway, I'm going to crack on, let that soak in. I'm going to move on to another guitar while this is soaking in. I'll let that soak in for 25-30 minutes, and then I'll come back and I'll get it finished off. There you go. That is the muck off a fingerboard. I've seen a lot worse than that in my time, but that is, it's pretty yucky, isn't it? I'm going to show you the fingerboard now. I've cleaned it all up and give the frets a bit of a polish. How much of a difference is that? Get into the light a bit. There you go. What do you think to that? Frets polished, fingerboard cleaned, all the grime off. That is the stuff that accumulates from your fingers over months and months and months of playing, maybe even years of playing. It's pretty grimy. What I'm going to do is, I've still got half of the steel wool I've got to use, so I'm going to cut that grimy half off. Going to bin that. And this bit I can use to finish polishing the frets, which is what I'm going to do right now. And I'll check the frets for level, then we'll get some strings back on and we'll get it finished. Stay tuned. While checking my tuners, which is something else I always do on an intensive setup, I tighten these screws here, I tighten these at the top of the tuners, make sure we're all alright, we've got a uniform resistance on each one, and also I check these nuts on the back, and I've taken 2 out, one here I believe, no, one there, and that reason is the screws are turning in there. So what I'm going to do is I normally just put a little splint of matchstick in there, or matchstore, or something, anything I've got knocking about, and I do have some bamboo stalks knocking about here, might be bamboo, don't know, could be pine. What I'm just going to split this about yay length, split it. I'm going to stick a piece of this in each hole, and then I'm going to put the screws back in. And that will give us a tight bind on the tuners. Not major work, but it's something I like to do, just to make sure that they're in tight and we're not going to spin and the tuners aren't going to come loose. Welcome back. We are all done. This guitar has had 3 hours and a set of strings, and that would normally cost you 80 quid. We're going to get a better deal than that. So let's recap what the guitar's had. It came in with an electrical problem, which happened to be the jack. Now I didn't have one in stock, but I did have stereo one, so I put a stereo one in. That I then found out that wouldn't fit through the hole, so I had to replace it again with a black one, which I did have in stock. And you see it's got a black input there, just there, but you're not going to notice with a lead in there. It's also had a complete setup. It's had a fingerboard clean, a fret polish. I've reset the necks, set the height of the pickups, done the intonation, plugged it in, checked it everywhere. I've tightened up all the tuners. 2 of these had to be reinforced. Basically I put some matchstick inside the hole and put the screw back in. Tightened up these screws and these screws. So it's had the complete setup. I've checked the nut height above the first fret, it's absolutely fine. Plastic nut, but it's okay. It's probably a resin more than anything. I've polished also the pickups and all of the metalware there. Something I've not done yet is tightened up the strap pins, which I'm going to do in a minute. The guitar, I've also cleaned or sprayed some switch cleaner inside the pots, inside the 3-way, inside the jack. Everything works absolutely fine. I've had a play on this. Now, so these pickups are quite high output. They're really quite nice pickups, but we're going to plug it in. Bit of distortion on there. Notice the jack. I'm wobbling my jack there just to show that we've got no interference anywhere. Trying to find a plectrum. I had one in my hand 2 seconds ago, and of course, because I'm filming, it's gone, so I shall pick another. We'll just have a little twang on this. This video, I'm not going to post it till the 25th of December because it's a Christmas present for his daughter. And she's in for a great surprise. The guitar sounds wonderful. Sounds amazing. So that is that one done. I only put that in because I wanted to hear it again because it sounds fantastic. So that's all done. It's a Korean made, probably a Siam plant because it's got an S on there, made in Korea. It's a Epiphone SG G400. What a wonderful guitar. Set neck or glued in neck. Beautiful piece of mahogany there. Someone is going to be very happy this 25th of December. So that's this one wrapped up. I've got to blow on because I've got more guitars to do. I'm a little bit behind now, but that's no problem. So until the next project, as always, be good to each other, and I will see you soon. Oh, by the way, have a nice Christmas.